Hey, what's up? My name is Samuel Leeds. I am a property investor, and in this video, I want to answer your property investment questions. So if you have any questions at all, what's holding you back? What do you need to know? What are those little annoying, niggly questions that you can't seem to find the answer to when you just do normal Google searches, whether it be around lease options, rent to rents, deal packaging, business, mortgages? Please comment below and I will do my very best to answer your questions, your struggles, and the themes and topics that you want to hear about. So comment below, that would be great. Also, don't forget to subscribe, turn the notification bell on, and also hit the like button as well. That would really help me out. So go ahead and smash like, and let's see what people are asking to hear about. So last Q&A Sunday video that I did, I had a guy called Man Like IK who said, question, what's the process of getting a better credit score and everything you need for an 18-year-old? So, Man Like IK, I'm trying to work out what that means, but anyway, credit score. Firstly, credit score is really important. If you're going to be a property investor, it really helps if you have a good credit score. Why? Because if you've got a good credit score, it makes it easier to borrow money to then invest that money. Otherwise, you're going to have to use either your own money, which is really bad, because that means you're going to have to work really hard to use your own money, bad plan, or you're going to have to borrow someone else's money or use someone else's credit score, but it helps if your credit score is good. So great question. What can you do to make it good? Well, the very first thing I'll say is know what your credit score is. How do you do that? There's websites such as Nodal and Experian and different websites. But if you just Google, check my credit score, there's websites, I think they're free or pretty much free, maybe a really small subscription, where you can find out what your credit score is. So the mortgage lenders, when they lend to you, they're going to look at what your credit score is, find out what your score is. And then when you know what it is, if it's good, bad, average, fair, bit poor, work to get it in the excellent category. Some little things that you can do are make sure that you're registered to the electoral roll. If you're not registered on the electoral roll to vote, it will negatively affect your credit score. Make sure that you've got no little outstanding unpaid bills. For instance, if you've paid your mobile phone bill late, or you've got an outstanding debt and you've not paid it, it could be flagging up on your credit score. It should show you on your credit score if it's bad, why it's bad, fix it, and fix it quickly. Be patient, and that's probably what I would say. But definitely keep working on that credit score, guys. All right, Bethany Halliwell. I currently work minimum wage, and a fair amount of my wages goes to rent and food. I have a student debt and don't have enough income for a deposit or a mortgage. The bank won't lend to me. How can I afford to buy a property? Great question, Bethany. There's many things you can do. For a start, you could buy a property on a lease option agreement. That means buy a property now, but agree to pay for it later, as in 5-7 years. That gives you the time to save up your deposit and to get your mortgageability credit score in a good place, so that at the end of the 5 years or the 7 years, you buy the house for a price that you agree today. Now, the awesome thing is about that, not only does it give you time to save up and does it give you time to get your credit score sorted so you can get a mortgage, but also, over time, houses tend to go up. So after 5 or 7 years, you've got a bargain. And on top of that, how are you going to save up your deposit? Where's that money going to come from? You're on minimum wage. Well, you can use the rent from the property to save up on a deposit. It sounds a little bit too good to be true, doesn't it? It really isn't. It's just called a lease option agreement. I've done many of these and so have many of my students. So I probably suggest looking at that. Hope that helps. Okay, Hashim says, one of my concerns is if I had a property which no tenants are interested in and it cannot be rented out, what would you do? Great question, Hashim. So what happens if you get a house, maybe you buy it now and pay for it later, but then you can't rent it out? That would be really terrible. Well, the answer is, firstly, and you might want to remember this, is every house will rent out at the right price. Your job when taking on the house is to figure out what the right price is. We are in a small island and there's a shortage of houses, there's a shortage of homes, and there's an overpopulation of people. So if you've got a house, it will rent out. As long as it's habitable and it's not like really run down or anything, it will rent out no matter where it is. It's just a case of working out what the right price is by speaking to estate agents or letting agents in the area, assessing the right price. The reason most people have no tenants in their house or they have an empty property is because the letting agent will say, oh, you'll easily rent this out for £600 a month, but actually the letting agency is being a little bit optimistic. So you put it on for 600, but there's others on the market for 550, and your house is sitting there empty. But if you just put it at the right price, it should rent out right. So speak to letting agents, be conservative, reduce the rent slightly if you have to, and make sure you do proper due diligence in an area. But remember, anything will rent out at the right price. Hope that helps. Okay, Husnain Shah says, I've been watching your Q&A Sundays since you first came out with it. Wow, that's impressive because I've been doing this for years. But I've never asked a question. You've never asked a question and you've been watching for years? Listen guys, if you watch my Q&A Sundays every week and you've never asked a question, today is the day to break that pattern and ask your questions. All right, let's see what Husnain has to say. When you're buying a property that is strictly a cash purchase and it's not mortgageable, is it possible to do an option agreement with the vendor to do the bare minimum to just make it mortgageable, say no kitchen or bathroom, and just put a used one in, and then sell it at a much higher price and then keep the difference so that when we put it back on the market, there's still enough profit for someone else to come in and do it up to an excellent standard? For example, a property selling for £150,000 cash purchase, end value 230. So we come in, do a little bit of work and put it on the market for 175, and now it's mortgageable. This way we put in a little bit of money just to make it mortgageable and then sell it on to an investor, which will do the full refurb. Yeah, that is possible. That is very possible. In fact, that's something that myself and my wife have done many times. We've bought a property that's completely run down, and instead of doing it all up to a really high standard, we've just fixed the kitchen and bathroom and then sold it. So it is possible. You can also do it with an option agreement as well. So, yeah, you can do that, my friend. Okay, last question. Okay, so get commenting, folks. Let's see your questions. Ajaz B says, right, 75k available to spend. Equity was released from my home. Do I go down the HMO route or buy 2 or 3 properties on a buy-to-let mortgages and pull it all down on a derelict, or put it all down on a derelict property? Also, in my city of Nottingham, not many properties available in my price bracket. Would you recommend a different location with a high rental yield, but the properties are around 50 to 70k? Thanks, mate. Ajaz, great question. Thank you, and congratulations on pulling out some equity on one of your homes or your home. You got 75k. It depends on what you want to achieve. Are you looking for cash flow or are you looking for capital appreciation? Are you looking to get some quick, fast pounds, or are you looking to build wealth and have slow pound and build your net worth over time? If I had 75k and I lived in Nottingham, I would probably be tempted to buy a property on an auction around Nottingham, a single let house, for about 75k, buy it cash, run down, then get a development finance or a bridging loan to do it up, and then refinance it and try and pull out all or most of my money so I can get my money back, and then I would do it again. Once I'd done that once or twice and I had a bit of experience, I would then show investors what I'm doing, and I would then lend joint venture on a bigger deal, maybe a HMO in Nottingham, and start growing and joint venturing my way to becoming a property millionaire. I hope that helps. Hey, thank you for watching the video. I appreciate every single person that tunes in, that asks questions, that likes the video, that comments, supports, subscribes. So thank you so much. I look forward to the next video where I'll be answering your questions to this video. Don't forget to drop your question in, subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Thank you. Peace out.